as I said before, obviously I like Ferrari a lot, and I was really surprised to see that your father never raced with Ferrari in Formula 1, because obviously they raced with Ferrari in some other categories, but never in Formula 1. And I thought maybe because Ferrari in those years wasn't really performing really well, but in 1964 they won a world championship. So I would like to know why you decided to never go to Ferrari.
I don't think it was a decision never to go to Ferrari. I think it was that he was with BRM and then with Lotus. He drove for Ferrari. He was a Ferrari works driver, a Scuderia Ferrari, in sports cars in the GT. So he raced. I mean, he raced everything. He raced whatever he could.
Your father, in the second part of his F1 career, decided to be a team manufacturer, and so he created his own team, Embassy Hill, and so he was also racing, but the team at least didn't seem very good. But unfortunately, your dad died in 1975, and the team project was cancelled. But I wanted to know, if your father never died, you think he could have reached some teams and potentially fight for a championship? Was the progression going to be good?
It was, absolutely. And they had just developed the car, and I think they found a second and a half on the car, and they had Tony Bryce, who was, my father assigned Tony Bryce, and he was very much seen as the next British Formula 1 world champion. So I think they would have got there.
But I wanted to ask, why did he create his own team? Because he was already a really good driver, and could have kept going as a normal driver.
It's a question my mother kept asking him. Why are you doing this, Graham? And she didn't want him to do it, because she knew the responsibility that Formula 1 team owners, Formula 1 constructors have. They're not just there in the car, they have the whole thing. But the car had found a second and a half, but she did not want him to do it.
Obviously, now we are in this museum, but I wanted to know how you keep your father's legacy to this day. Obviously, he will still be remembered for maybe forever, the only driver to win the Triple Crown. But how do you think and how do you carry his legacy?
I think that he's so well remembered, and he still has a presence, and he was such fun, and his personality was enormous, and he's one of the greats. And what happened in 2016, my family was approached by someone called Stefan Konzen of Hans Konzen Cosmetics. And Stefan remembered being at the Nürburgring in the 70s in the Formula 1 paddock, and there was a group of Formula 1 drivers there. And the person that stayed in his memory for his presence, the way he held himself, the way he was my father. And he runs a cosmetics company, and he thought that he would like to get what my father stood for out there. So he's created this fabulous brand of men's grooming products called Graham Hill Cosmetics. And all the products, I think there are about 30, 40 products, they're all named after a street, a corner. So we have Beau Rivage Eau de Toilette for the Beau, after Santa Berta.
Your father didn't have enough money to marry your mother in 1955, and your mother. So I wanted to know if this story is actually true. He had a bike, he didn't have a car. So I wanted to know if this story is true.
Well, what happened was, when they were going out, he had very, very little money. He would use his bike to get away.
Of him trying to go racing, or was
yes, because of trying to get into motor racing. And finally, he proposed to her, because she thought he was never going to do so. He realised that this was the moment, otherwise he was going to lose it. So he proposed to her. Then they set a date, and the only date that they could find was Saturday, the 13th of August, 1955. And it was the only free day that he wasn't racing. Unfortunately, he was racing at Goodwood the next day. So my mother's mother, my grandmother, made her dress, because she was a seamstress, and that was her wedding dress. And then after the wedding, and after the party, the gathering, they drove down to Bognor Regis, which is next to Chichester, where Goodwood is, and my father went racing the next day.
Maybe because he had to do a pit stop, before he gets married and then go racing.
My mother would do the lap charts as Betty Brabham, Jack's wife, did, and Hazel Chapman Collins' wife did, and their lap charts would often set the grid of the day. And this is my mother's stopwatch. And I remember her having these enormous lap charts, big books and big sheets, and she would do the timing for the whole field. And so the wives and the girlfriends were very much a part of the virtual race.
Your father lived through World II, and so basically, when obviously there was a bombing, so he had sometimes to sit under the tables when he heard noises, and I wanted to know, maybe thanks to this, as he became a driver, he was never scared of driving at this speed. But anyways, I wanted to know if he told you a bit about this period.
Well, I know that my father was 10 when the Second World War broke out. I know that he used to love collecting shrapnel, which I think a lot of boys did. And when the air race started, so it was my grandmother, my grandfather, his brother Brian, my uncle, and him. And they had an Airedale dog called Prince. So the four of them, when the air raid, well, I think my grandfather was away, he was doing war work. So yes, it was my grandmother, my father, his brother, and the dog Prince. It all died under the table when the air raid sounded. And that's where they were during the Blitz and, that whole time.